Aloha, I'm Aja Eyre. This is the Maui Pono Network update for the week of November 13th. We apologize we didn't get an update out last week. That was because before we even knew it, our whole video was redundant because the governor has selected the state Senate seat for District 5. He has selected the candidate to put in there who is, no surprise, representative of House District 10, Troy Hashimoto. So we had done a whole video about who are these candidates, what's going to happen, and then at the end we said the reality is Troy Hashimoto is going to be selected because he is a Democratic Party, the main option. I mean, he's been in the seat. He does what the Democratic Party leadership wants him to do. Of course, he's going to be selected. It's just what happens when we have these appointments. I've yet to see a time, and if somebody has a time that they want to correct me on this, where we're getting a fair, full playing field of candidates, and then the best candidate is selected. It is almost always the one who has kowtowed and done what the Democratic Party leadership wants them to do, the one that listens and is obedient to that. This is the problem with appointments. The other problem with appointments is that we have a really hard time getting people out of those seats once they are appointed there. Gil Keith-Agaran was appointed to his seat. Troy Hashimoto was appointed to his House seat that he's now vacated in 2018. That was when he was appointed. We have Linda Coit was just appointed to another seat. I mean, she had been in office. But once people are appointed, in our county, please, I know I'm preaching to the choir here. I'm sure everybody watching this video, since you're involved, take the time to learn who the candidates are and make a decision based on the candidate, not what corporations are telling you to do. I hope that's the case, but it doesn't reflect in the elections because we're seeing these incumbents time after time reelected, regardless of their poor voting record. If you compare their voting record to what their constituents want them to vote on and what they want their values to be, or even what they consider their values to be, look at their voting record and they don't match up. So in this case, Troy Hashimoto, not a water warrior, does not have a history of looking after the water rights of the public, of the Native Hawaiians who rely on water for farming in some of these water sensitive areas, and is not a warrior for water for environmental reasons either. He's just way out there on that. Same with just environmental issues. We're not seeing him vote in a way that is supportive of lasting environmental issues. A lot of the things he's championing, we haven't seen them come to pass. If you're interested in this, I could go on for hours. Let's just say I have gone on for hours. Maybe this is my 10th take of this video and they were too long. But go ahead and read the Maui News article is very telling. Read between the lines on that one. Civil Beat has some interesting things. There's some other kind of out there newspapers like Hawaii Free Press has a whole thing on this too. Nobody's entirely pleased with this appointment system. It is what it is. We kind of have to deal with it for now. I'm hoping that we have some state leadership, I know the party leadership is never going to attack this because it keeps the power centralized in the Democratic Party, in the state's party. Behind closed doors, these decisions are made. But hopefully at some point we can gather enough local support to really change the system of appointments so that the governor is choosing from either a large group of candidates or is just choosing candidates at large again. All right, so what else is happening this week in the county? Well, we have to have Troy Hashimoto's seat now needs to be filled. So that we're going to be watching that over a couple of weeks. We'll see what the Democratic Party comes up with for the candidates that they're going to recommend. We also have the BFED committee is looking again at property tax rates. That's on Thursday. So if you're interested in that, it's a continuing discussion of the Lahaina and upcountry fire remediation tax remediation. It's kind of like a stay of taxes. They're also looking at agricultural property tax rates. So if you have agricultural land, you might be interested in checking out that meeting on Thursday. But this is what's so important. And I hate to leave it to the end here, but I wanted to make sure that we gave it the time that it needed. The Planning Commission is reassessing the SMA rules. Now, SMA means Special Management Area. And this includes all of the coastlines on all of the islands in our county and the whole state. It includes those. The special management area, sometimes it's considered the shoreline management rules. So they are looking at the SMA rules and trying to make development and remediation and remodeling of space a little easier for people to pass through. So it's kind of like just imagine you're on the coast, or you're in a sensitive area, coastal sensitive area, and you need to replace your degrading driveway. So you do, because you're in the special management area, you have to get a permit, a special management area permit, in order to dig that up and fix it. So, I think these are either good intentions or not good intentions. I think part of the problem here is that the planning department and the state permitting offices are probably understaffed. The people there are probably overworked, and they're looking for a way to just really get through a continual backlog. The other problem is as we're seeing the coasts, the waters rise, and we're seeing more damage on the coast. And in addition, even without rising seawater, there's just been a lot of development on the coast here in our county and in the state. And over time, it falls into the water. You just, whether or not the sea level is rising, but even if it wasn't rising, there is a continual betterment of storms, of water in these special management areas. And we've seen floods coming down from the other direction. So property gets damaged easily there. It requires a lot of upkeep. But the special management area rules are there to protect the resource. So the resource is cultural, it's archaeological, and it's environmental. So what they're asking to do is they're trying to exempt certain ground disturbance from any review at all. This is totally unprecedented. They're saying basically, here's a list of activities, uses, operations that we think should have absolutely no permitting and people can just do it. And this is very, very scary. This is a sensitive area. The SMA rules exist just to protect this area from this sort of behavior construction work. These are areas that potentially have iwi kupuna. These are areas that are archaeologically sensitive. These are areas that are definitely environmentally sensitive. And when work is done there, when the ground is disturbed, that is what is the concern. Now they're looking at things like being able to remodel inside your home if it's worth less than a certain amount of money without doing SMA permits and things like that. But this is ground disturbance. This is what the SMA rules are there for. So they're basically taking all the teeth out of it. So this is Tuesday morning that this is coming up, 9 a.m. You might be seeing this video too late if you got up early. Maybe you're catching it in time. But that's 9 a.m. tomorrow. Go ahead and, you can do a call-in testimony on that. Just type in Maui Planning Commission. It'll bring up the county site. You can click on agenda. We'll try to put a link here on our website, but it may not get to you in time. These are things that different groups watch over and make sure that the Planning Commission is not making decisions that go against the democratic process and what the population feels like needs to happen, but also just doesn't go against good science, cultural sensitivity, and just careful planning. And, it's not ever a good idea just to take away the rules if you're having a hard time enforcing the rules. This is kind of the story lately. So we've dealt with this a lot lately. You don't just say, if we can't force the rules, take the rules away. If the rules are there, probably there for a good reason. They're there for the health and safety of everyone. They're there for, taking care of sensitive areas. Let's see these rules enforced. Let's find a way to make it efficient. So if people do need to make improvements, if they need to take care of their land, that they can do that in an efficient and effective way, but that these sensitive areas are still cared for and that the rules are followed, that again are there to protect these sensitive areas for the benefit of all, so that for many generations forward, our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, and can continue to use these areas. Anyway,
Not all bad news this week, but there are some important things to be watching. Again, I'm Aja Eyre with Maui Pono Network. Please check our website, mauipononetwork.org. If you have questions, you want to follow up on some of these things, you want to check out what's there. You can also follow us on Facebook. You can ask us questions. Let us know what you'd like to have covered in these videos. And have a great week. Aloha.